Now, every year on August 12th, the world comes together to celebrate International Youth Day, a day dedicated to recognizing the power, potential, and contributions of young people to building a better world. This year's theme focuses on driving local change for a sustainable future, a call to action for youth to not just dream about a better tomorrow, but to take the lead in shaping it today. In Nigeria, young people make up the majority of the population, and from entrepreneurship to climate action, sports to community service, they are proving that change often starts at home, within local communities.
But the question is, how can we ensure their energy, as well as their creativity and ideas, translate into lasting impact? And what role can state governments play in empowering youth to become true agents of change? So joining us to share their insights and experiences are Dr. Fred Latimore Oghenesivbe. He is the Director General of the Delta State Bureau for Communications and Orientation. Joining us from the Middle Belt of Nigeria is the Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Plateau State, Musa Ashoms. He joins us live as well. Coming on as well as our correspondents, we have from Delta, and that's Austin Azu. He joins us live, as well as Chizoba Anyonwe, who joins us as well from Plateau State, Jos, the capital. Lady and gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Now let's get started. International Youth Day is a global celebration, but we're spoken about. The question here is about localizing its meaning. So let me start at the government level, and I will start with you, Sir Dr. Oghenesivbe. In terms of how do you see Delta State driving youth inclusion for change, especially a state that has such a young population, and how best to change that, to have a sustainable future for its youth?
The government here, we've done quite a lot in terms of youth development, from the creative sector to empowerment, and we also have a bureau specifically for job-aware creation. And this bureau is centered essentially on youths to harness their skills and to empower them to ensure that once they are out of school, and these days we hardly had white-collar jobs. Once they are out, the state government takes it up from there, and we kind of give them skills and give them startup packs to start a living. We also have technical schools across the 3 senatorial districts, because we believe strongly that these technical schools, they provide immediate jobs, ready jobs out of school. Once they leave secondary school at that level of technical education, they are able to start something doing. Because right there at the technical level, we are able to make them to learn skills like carpentry, plumbing, and a lot of them. So once they are out, they are ready to face the world, they are ready to make a living, they are ready to be employers of labor as well. And also in terms of sports development, Delta has done quite a lot in sports development. We are hammering on this. We make sure that the State Sports Commission is well equipped now. We recently won also the youth competition in the country. And these are some of the things that we are doing currently to make sure that our youths are well engaged. Also in agriculture, the care programs that we have is also centered on the youths to make sure that they participate actively in our agricultural sector. The agriculture, in the sense of it that most youths, they like poultry business. And this poultry and some other like fishery and poultry, we have been able to encourage them quite enough. Government has funded that sector properly. And as I speak to you, close to 800,000 youths has gained, under this present administration in terms of agriculture, in terms of, skill acquisition, and in terms of empowering our youth to make sure that they are productive. But the basic problem we have at the moment is the issue of drug abuse. And this is really telling much on our youths. And this drug abuse is also taking so much energy from our youths. Mm-hmm. And that is why also His Excellency the Governor has also ensured that we launch a data-free, drug-free campaign to ensure that our youths are taken out of drugs and be able to focus attention properly on their skill development and their vocational training, so that we can have them to become employers of labor and entrepreneurs.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So I want to speak to Honorable Ashoms here, and I'll give you a bit of history. I'm sure you know already. I'm going to ask my producers to please verify, but in the 80s, there was an institution in Jos, if I'm not mistaken, that's responsible for most of the very many talents that we see in the film industry today. Matthew, if you can help me verify that. But it was a center for when it comes to filmmaking or television. So I'm wondering, Commissioner, in this case now, when it comes to sports and as we celebrate World Youth Day, how exactly do you intend to make, or is there any provision to make this like a center for young people to look at sports as a way of building and developing them and also the nation?
Thank you for having me. And I want to use this medium, your great platform, to once again wish Plateau youth and youth all over the world happy International Youth Day, because every day is Youth Day without commemorating it. It will interest you to know that in the Super Eagles of Nigeria, even the present captain, Ahmed Musa, is from Jos. We've had 3 others apart from him. So Jos is a sports center. It has produced a lot of great people. You know that the member in Lagos State House of Assembly, what do you call it? The fine man that is in the House of Assembly, schooled in Jos. A lot of people have history with Plateau State. So as a government under the capable and able leadership of His Excellency, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, we are doing well to enhance and magnify sporting activities. On the Plateau, we have 36 sporting associations. And you will recall that not long ago, we went to the National Sports Festival in Abeokuta in Ogun State. And apart from the FCT, Plateau State came first in the entire North. In as much as we are not too satisfied with the performance, but it's the best performance lately from Plateau State. We took the highest number of athletes, and our people did us proud. And the governor was and is still happy with that feat. If you come to Jos, there's a stadium that we call the Rangpam Township Stadium. You will see that it is taking a new shape. It is undergoing remodeling. It is undergoing transformation. The entire trigger for that is the development of sport. The governor places a lot of premium on young people, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang. That is why if you come to Plateau State, for example, you see about 69.5% of the drivers of governance that fall within the youth bracket. Young people have been given responsibilities to drive the state forward. So as we speak, Plateau State is one of the states that other states should look forward to, other states should learn from, and governance space has been created for young people. If you go to the Plateau State Microfinance Development Agency, which is labeled Plasmida, you will see that if you have any business idea, you can come for free training. Government will train you so that you will invest. And we realize that people come to Jos from all over the world and come to Plateau State.
We seem to have lost Commissioner there.
Yeah, we have. We'll try to re-establish connection with him.
Yes.
But very quickly, let me speak to our correspondents. I'm glad that we've been able to establish, the works or the strategies that, the state governments, in this case, Delta and Plateau, are doing to, build a sustainable future for the young generation of the young people of the states. But the thing about, strategies that is always adopted by the government is that it is oftentimes far, different, or they take a different turn from what the people or what the constituents want or need or ask for. So let me ask you, Austin, the commissioner just reeled out everything that the state government is doing, but you also feel the pulse of the people, and you are a representation of those people as well. What are they saying regarding, the initiatives that the government is taking, and what do they need for a sustainable future? Austin.
Okay, first and foremost, from what we gathered so far, that 70% of the population in the state here are predominantly youth. And from what the DG just rightly stated, out of out of 10, one is involved in drug abuse. So this has really been a concern to most of the youth within the state, and this has actually created, some disturbing insecurity challenges. And of course, each time we go to police briefing, we see a lot of drugs being paraded, and sometimes to the NDLA, we see a lot of them being paraded. And this has really created a lot of concern, and hence the government activated the agency to go round to begin the campaign against drug abuse. And we spoke to a cross-section of respondents, predominantly who are youth, and they equally, throw their weight behind what the government is doing. And just to add that there's one policy the government has adopted, that before anyone will get admission into the higher institutions in the state, the person must undergo drug test, and that will be done within a few hours, so that to certify if the candidates equally merit that admission. However, for them to gain their future, they are equally advocating that there's need for government to continue the advocacy process to discourage some of their peers who are into this kind of activities. And not only that, they're equally calling for more rehabilitation centers across the states, that those who are already into it, let them go and let them take them to a rehabilitation center to go and revive them, so that they can be able to meet up their dreams. However, in Asaba precisely, the Asaba of Asaba led the Royal Palace to place a course on drug peddlers and traffickers in the state capital. And that's something that has been widely appreciated across the states, that every other traditional ruler should do likewise, because it seems that the people are scared of the traditional means of fighting this system, this scourge that has ravaged our youth. Significantly, these are basic things that some of the youths are talking about in the aspect of the drug abuse affecting them in the state.
Also, that's amazing. I mean, if placing curses on peddlers is working, I think we should introduce it into our constitution, because it's getting far better results.
But names of people to be placed curses with.
Yeah. But Chisaba, let's come to you. Chisaba, so I don't know if you would agree with this analysis here, the fact that many people are wondering whether the government or the authorities are actually listening to the people. These initiatives that are being put for the youth to ensure their sustainability in the future, is it what the youth actually are asking for? For instance, let's take the initiative into AI that's going on in Plateau State right now. We all know that Plateau State is, apart from being a mining state, it's also an agriculture state as well. The direction that the authorities are going in, is that the direction they should be going in? What are the people, what are the youth actually hungering for?
Thank you, Martino, for that. Well, here in Plateau State, just like you rightly said, the state is known for agriculture, mining too, and many other activities going on here. But for now, there has been a ban placed by the governor of the state, that is Caleb Mutfwang, on illegal mining activities in the state. And so he has said that all those have been put in place to ensure that those that are going into this mining activities are organized, more organized, channeled in such a way that it will benefit everybody, both the state government, the federal, at the larger extent, and of course, all the people, the youth that are engaged in these activities. Because, I mean, so many lives have been lost through these illegalities. So that aside, agriculture too, of course, so many people know that Plateau State is the home of agriculture, so to speak. Most of the vegetables you see around the country come from Plateau State. You talk about the Irish potato, you talk about the vegetables, carrots, and all those. So from what the special advisor to the governor said on the day of the International Youth Celebration in Plateau State, he has said that the governor is making plans to ensure that a greater number of youth go back into agriculture. And so this is where you get them engaged. Now with the help of AI technology coming into play, and that is where you have these youth engaged, expose them to more activities out there, technology-wise, how they can get things better, not just in agriculture, in different businesses they lay their hands upon to do, shoemaking, barbing salons, hairmaking salons, and so many other kind of businesses you may think of, so that when they have all these, you have new ways of doing things to maximize profit to get you better improved on the job, and then, of course, greater output out there. So for them, the government is doing on their own part what they think is necessary to get these youth off the street and have them better engaged for more productivity. And of course, that will also get them off the street, engaging in social vices. It is always said that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So when these youths are properly engaged, you see them getting off the streets, and then criminality will also be reduced, So that is what the government is doing on its part. But for these young men and women out there, all they are asking for is more support. So many of them are ready to do one thing or the other positively to have themselves busy, doing one thing or the other. Because, of course, the white-collar job is not for everybody. And, of course, you can't have it go round, So many people are being aware that they need to be self-employed, to be free from financial challenges, so they'll be able to stand on their own and be able to deliver on what they have set aside as their own goals, so that, they don't just sit idle, go into social vices, take to drug abuse.
Right.
In fact, a few days ago, I was at the Plateau State Command of the NDLEA, and one of the reports I got was that more youth are now coming for rehabilitation, and that is to say that crime rate as regards drug addiction is coming on a decrease.
Whilst other youth are going to the NDLEA for support, some youths are laying curses. They are my people with all means necessary. But with forcing or rather with pushing more young people into agriculture, one has to look at the insecurity when it comes to agriculture and farming, especially in areas that have been prone to herder-farmer clashes, and land grabbing and open grazing. Delta deals with it as well as Plateau. So, we have covered this extensively, but let me speak to the Commissioner of Delta State in terms of, putting more youth into agriculture and facilitating them, and giving them all that they need into going into agriculture. What about security? How can we secure the lives of our youth? How can we sustain their lives? And most importantly, the proliferation of drugs in Delta?
Correct you by saying that I'm not a commissioner. I'm the Director General of the State Orientation and Communications Bureau.
Apologies, sir, for that.
In Delta, security is one issue that the state government has tackled effectively. And thanks to the law enforcement agencies here, including the CP Abani Wanda, who is the State Command Police Commissioner. The arrest they have made here in the past 6 months is quite enormous, and quite a lot of, AK-47 rifles and a lot of, weapons has been recovered from hoodlums. And also, we talked about drug, in this program. And drug is traced to all kinds of crimes, whether prostitution, armed robbery, kidnapping, whatever it is that is criminal in nature. Drug is highly connected. And that is why we take the issue of drug campaign in Delta very seriously. We did that quite well in the past administration, and we are continuing this administration through the Bureau of Orientation and Communications. In agriculture sector, we have cooperative societies that we have formed across the state, even for our youths, so that we deal with them proactively. We connect with them through those cooperative societies, and we also connect with them through the Bureau for Wealth and Job Creation. Also, the Ministry of Women Affairs also coordinates the agricultural, activities that we have in the state, because we have young girls in this sector. And we are very proud of what our girls are doing right now in the agriculture sector. And so through the Ministry of Youth and Women Development, the Bureau for Job and Wealth Creation, and also the police, the security agencies, we're able to coordinate and to connect with these youths to periodically assess the security situation in their areas. Because the major issue of security now is we're talking about these kidnapping and these headers issues where, grazers go to farms and destroy crops, cash crops and the rest of them. And in order to also curtail that, also the state government has been able to connect with the leaders of the Fulani communities and the Hausa communities in the state. What we have even done, His Excellency has also done, is to we have given appointment. The governor has given appointment as a senior special assistant to the community leaders of the Hausa and the Fulani sectors. So through the office of the governor and through their appointments, we are able to now relate with them properly for identification. And not quite long ago, we also carried out identification program of all the headsmen and all the people who are our brothers and sisters from other parts of the country who are living with us here in Delta State for one reason or the other. We have been able to document to a large extent, to get the identity. So this is also helping us in terms of security. And also the local vigilantes and the hunters, we have them across the state now. They are well activated. And the state just passed a law now of, that will also assist government now to harness, the potentials of all of these hunters, vigilantes, and everybody together to be able to first security in our communities. They will go far beyond, the towns and villages to go into our farmlands and into our forests to us, to help to monitor and to ensure that we have security. And this is also now helping us, it's encouraging a lot of our youth now to come out to be involved in agriculture. So in the agriculture sector, we are doing quite enormous. I'm sure any moment from now, there'll be another exhibition, because we used to have what we call the trade fair. We have trade fair for our youth who are in.
Now, Director, I want to say we need to round up, but we also need to ask the Commissioner Ashoms, one more question before we go. So I beg your pardon. Commissioner Ashoms, let's talk about mentorship. Mentorship is something that's very rare to come by here in Nigeria, especially with us awarding ambassadorship to people who many claim are not good examples. We also have the case of unruly passengers that are getting rewarded. So it's not very easy for youth to actually find proper people that they could take sample from and behave like. What are you doing in Plateau State to help young people find proper mentors that could help them put them on the straights?
Mentor-mentee relationship on the plateau is wonderful. It's applaudable. We're kind people. We're very, very hospitable. Our weather is clement. Cheesy, well speaking, talk about Irish potato. It's actually, it has been rechristened. It's now Plateau potato. We're the producers, so we cannot take the credit elsewhere. Plateau people are very, very kind. That is why when you see people come, they settle for life. And the behaviors that have been displayed by certain Nigerians, you don't get it around us. We have a different kind of orientation. Yes, to every rule there are exceptions. Just like when you're talking about drugs, it's not something that is prevalent. And you have to know that we have a youth leadership development course that our young people went to attend at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. And we want whatever we learn so that we cascade it. And we have great people on the plateau, people that have made their marks, people that you look up to. And when you hear the drug-related issues, when you hear negative news, you don't find it around us, except that, okay, because our land is very fertile, certain persons will want to take it and all of that. But you know that Plateau State is a great state. It's not everywhere that is under siege. And we have our youth now at Back Farm, where we are training 1,000 youths, and we've given them a hectare each. And we're hoping that by next year, we will double the number and even add 500 on it, so that we'll have 2,500 youths, because we have farms in the central, southern, and northern zone. Then we are hoping that by 2027, we will have about 7,500 youths on these farms. And at the end of the day, we are hoping that they will also train other youths, because whatever you learn, it is expedient that you also trickle it down. It's expedient that you also share with others. So our Plateau youth are very are well disciplined. They understand that discipline is the key element for growth, and we know that, of course, they are an integral part of our growth and our development. That is why the governor has opened leadership space or spaces for our youths. You can see that for the first time, young people are director generals, young people are commissioners, young people are executive secretaries, young people are SAs, young people are local government chairmen, and the list is endless. So Plateau State has become a case study for a lot of states, because young people have been given spaces to lead, because in the future, you need to have leaders that have been tested, leaders that you can trust, because we cannot bequeath Plateau State to rascals and rascality. So governance has taken initiative. His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang has given the youth the exposure that they need, so that they will also contribute their quota in the growth, development, and progress of Plateau State. So whatever we do on the plateau, the youths are in the beginning, they are in the middle, and of course they are in the end of it. So that at the end of the day, when our season is off, when their season is on, they have been mentored, they have been given the right exposure, they have the right education, and of course, Plateau State will be better for it. And Nigeria ultimately will benefit from all of the training, the mentorship, and of course, the kind of leadership that the government and people of Plateau State give.
Okay. Gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for taking out the time to join us this morning, as well as our lady, Chizoba Niwe, correspondent from Plateau, as well as Austin Ezu, correspondent from Delta State, along with Dr. Fred Latimore Oghenesivbe, who's a DG of the Delta State Bureau of Communications and Orientation, and lastly, Musa Ashoms, who's the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development in Plateau State. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us.